Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of All Aboard Stock Charts. I'm your host Chip Anderson, and I want to start by welcoming all the newcomers that have joined StockCharts.com or are watching the show trying to figure out how to do more with StockCharts.com. I want to welcome you to our website and to the show. Again, I'm the president of StockCharts.com. My name's Chip Anderson, and I want to take you through, over the next hour, I want to take you through all the key things that I want you to know so that you can use the site effectively. We'll also, this is a live show, we want to answer any questions that you have too throughout the show. So let's get going. Again, the goal here is to help you become instantly productive with stock charts, get all those questions answered. Got a couple of FAQs for you before we get going. We are recording this show. I know that sometimes I will go a little fast. If I do that, the show will be up on our YouTube channel very shortly. Also, remember, you're watching this on a special video viewer that allows you to scrub backwards. So you can also go backwards and see what I said, even while the show is still live. You can ask questions anytime. We've got this little Slido chat box you might notice off to the right of the video if you're on our website. And if this is live right now, you're here on Saturday with us, please ask your questions in that Slido chat box. I have my good friend Rachel who's watching the chat for questions, and she'll be interrupting me and letting me know any questions that get asked. If you want to right now, you can, in Slido, you can type hi, just tell Rachel hello. So this show is all about helping people who are kind of new to the site get more comfortable with it, get more familiar with what's going on. So I'm not going to be able to go into a whole bunch of detail on some of the more complex features that we have on the site. I've got a different show for that I also do on the weekends. It's called Deep Dive, and it comes immediately after this show. So that's the show for more of those kind of questions. And I do enjoy that show, and I encourage you to watch that show as well. And then finally, we do have a downloadable version of the slides that you're seeing on the screen right now. This thing is available in a PDF form. You can get it from the URL that you see there at the bottom of your screen. I encourage you to do that, but maybe not right now because it might eat up a bunch of bandwidth and cause the video to have trouble. That's up to you. d.stockcharts.com/tv/allaboard.pdf, all lowercase. Okay, so, well, again, welcome to StockCharts. So why are we doing this, and why did I create this site, and why have we been doing this for 20 years? We're actually coming up on our 21st anniversary here pretty soon. Our goal is to help online investors like yourself make better investing decisions through the visualization of financial data. We're on your side. We're trying to help you make sense of everything that's going on in the market, specifically everything that's going on with respect to the stocks you're interested in, or we're interested in helping you find other stocks that are interesting to you. So there's a whole bunch of tools that we have, but they all are unified by this one goal, trying to help you make better investing decisions through the visualization of financial data. We do that with, again, our tools and the data behind those tools. We have a huge amount of educational information on the website, both in the chart school area of the site, as well as what you're watching right now, StockCharts TV. And then we also have a lot of commentary. So the commentary is timely information about what's going on in the market, and you'll find that in the articles area of our site. The education stuff is timeless information about what's going on and how technical indicators work, what the charts are telling you, all that kind of stuff. So it's the combination of all three of these things that we think really makes for a great website, and that's what we try to do. Now, I want to take just a second and explain how our free trial works. Again, if you're new to the site, I want to make absolutely sure you get the most out of the free trial. We offer a 1-month free trial, and so again, new people are probably on that free trial right now as we speak. After 1 month, you get to do anything you want to on the site, essentially for free for 1 month. After that month is up, we're going to charge your credit card that you used when you registered, unless you canceled the account. To cancel the account, please don't, but to cancel the account, you can click on the Your Account link that's always available on any of our pages, and then press the Cancel Your Account button. I'll show you that in just a little bit. And then, and we'll talk more. We'll talk more in just a minute. During the free trial, one of the most important things to do is to understand the 3 different service levels that we have, the 3 different categories of service we provide. Each category has a different cost associated with it, and each category has a different collection of features. They build on each other. So our first category is called Basic, and if you want to pay on a month-by-month basis, it costs $14.95. If you pay prepay, it will be less, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But month to month will give you the most flexibility, and it's $14.95. And for a basic member, you're going to get 1 chart list, which is a chart list is like a folder for storing your charts. You can have up to 500 saved charts in that list. As a basic member, you won't get access to our advanced technical scans, that's actually kind of a big deal. But it's okay if basic if you're not interested in scans, then basic is going to be a great deal for you. But you do get access to all of the commentators that we have, including John Murphy, the father of modern technical analysis, his daily commentary about what's going on in the markets. You'll also get access to Martin Pring's commentary. Martin is another amazing trailblazer in the field of technical analysis, written many books. Lots and lots of other capabilities are available to you, but these are the big ones in Basic. Now, the next level up from Basic is what we call our Extra service, and it's priced, again, on a month-to-month basis at $24.95. It'll be less expensive if you prepay. That gives you up to 250 chart lists. Remember, each list can contain up to 500 charts, so that's a lot of saved charts if you really want to take advantage of all of them. You can have up to 200 saved advanced technical scans, and you can have up to 10 technical alerts. An alert fires when a particular situation happens and you want to be notified. So if a stock, say for instance, goes above or below $100, you want to be notified. That's what a technical alert can do for you. Extra is really kind of the sweet center, the middle, the nice, most popular of our services. And it's one we recommend if you are kind of confused, you're not sure which way to go. Extra is probably going to be a great way to go. If you need more, if for some reason you want bigger charts, you want more chart lists, you want more alerts, all that stuff, if you just want more, then that's what our Pro service is for. And the Pro service, $39.95, provides all of this stuff. And again, it all builds. So each one has everything the previous one has and some additional stuff. So you can see Basic goes to Extra, goes to Pro. All right, so hopefully that's clear. Now, the other thing, though, when you're a StockCharts subscriber, you do have another piece of information you have to understand and decide upon, and that is, do I want a real-time data plan, or am I okay with just the regular free data that StockCharts provides normally? So, in other words, you're matching up your service plan with an optional data plan. We have a free data plan that everyone gets unless they want to pay more. And the data plans are essentially, you're getting the official data from the exchanges, and therefore you need to pay the exchange fees. So the data plans have exchange fees associated with them, and we just pass that price, that cost, on to the exchanges. So for instance, and I'll show you the difference here in just a minute. If you don't like our free data plan and you want to get the official real-time data from the NYSE and NASDAQ and exchanges, then you're going to add that official data plan for the U.S. in this case, and it will cost an additional $9.95 a month. Each country that we support, the U.S., Canada, UK, and India, each of them have a real-time data plan, and each of those plans costs $9.95 a month, and you can have as many of those or as few of those as you want. So again, we have a standard plan, it's free. And what's going to happen there is you're going to get delayed data for all of the countries that I just mentioned, Canada, UK, and India. And you'll actually get officially delayed data from the US. However, during that 15-minute delay, we're going to fill in the blanks. We're going to take that 15 minutes and we're going to insert into it free real-time data from something called the BATS exchange. And the BATS exchange is good. It's not perfect, but it's very good price information. It's usually good enough for most people. But again, if you're really, really into it, then you probably want to go ahead and spend the additional $9.95 exchange fees to get the official real-time data. I'll show you the difference here in just a minute. So here's what it looks like. Here is two charts of Intel at the exact same moment. This was a couple years back, but it still shows the thing. What you see on the left is a chart of Intel where the final 15 bars are highlighted in yellow. Do you see that? And the highlighted in yellow part, it's right here. These are the bars that were filled in with BATS data. We highlight them in yellow because they're going to change. As soon as the 15 minutes is up, they move across this yellow dashed line, and we replace the BATS data that was there with the official real-time data. So everything to the left of that yellow line is official real-time data because it's been over 15 minutes. Everything to the right is the BATS data that we're using to fill in that 15-minute gap. So that's how our free plan works. You'll notice also that there is no volume here. BATS data does not come with good volume information, and so we don't show that, nor do we use it in our indicator calculations. If intraday volume is super important to you, then you're probably not going to be happy with the free plan. You're probably going to want to do the $9.95 official US data plan. This is what that looks like. So here is at the same time we see what an official plan would look like. In this case, just one bar is highlighted in green, and this is the bar, the 1 minute bar that's still changing as the market goes on. The rest of these bars are all official NYSE bars for Intel, and so or NASDAQ bars. You can see the difference. You can compare the two here and see that generally the data was pretty good from BATS, but it wasn't perfect. There's definitely some differences between these, and if those differences are important to you, that's the problem. Also, you'll see the volume information has appeared here, whereas the volume information was not here. So that's the key question. Is that information important to you and your style of trading? Now, in the case of Intel's a pretty liquid stock, and so the differences here are pretty minimal with the exception of volume. But on the other hand, here's a stock which is very illiquid. It trades infrequently, and you can see there are many more differences between the official data and the BATS data. And so that's not uncommon, and again, if that's an issue for you, then you'll want to spring for the $9.95 data plan. All right, so kind of enough about that. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was clear on those things. So you need to decide over the course of the free trial which service level do you want, and then also do I want to associate a data plan with that. During the free trial, you can upgrade and downgrade your service plan freely. You can test out basic, you can test out extra, you can test out pro, no problem. Unfortunately, you can't add a real-time data plan during the free trial because of the exchange restrictions. If you add that data plan, you're kind of making a commitment to pay that for a month, and we can't get that money back for you. So the data plan is something you're going to have to just kind of decide based on your evaluation of the free data. Is the free data good enough for you, or do you need more? So those are the questions. All right, so the other thing I want to make sure everyone's clear on, of course, is how do I log in and how do I know that I'm logged in? We get this question sometimes. There's a button in the upper right corner of the screen, and it should say login. If it does say login, it means you're logged out because it's giving you the option to log in. Once you are logged in, instead of that button, you should see your name. And it should say hi Chip or hi whatever. And so that's how you can tell the difference. If for some reason you're unable to log in or you try and log in and it doesn't seem to be working, double check that you're accepting all of the cookies that we provide. We have to do, as a website, we have to do a lot of stuff through cookies, and if those get blocked, our site won't work very well. One other thing to remember, if you're seeing a lot of advertising, especially next to our charts, then that means you're probably not logged in. For some reason, something went wrong and you got logged out or whatever. So you should not, as a member that's logged in, you shouldn't see advertising next to our charts. I'm going to give a demo of all this in just a minute. I know it's a lot to take in, but I'll give you a demo to kind of bring it all together. One other thing I need to talk about, though, before I do my demo, is the setup wizard. When you first log in for the very first time, we take you through this process that helps you set up your account, and that's called the setup wizard. I'll give a demo. It leads you through the 3 key things that you need to initially configure in order to get a lot out of your StockCharts account. That's your default chart style, your first chart list, which is typically a portfolio of stocks you own, and some scans. So we're going to go through that and see how it works. If for some reason you want to run this again, or maybe you're an older member who didn't get a chance to use the setup wizard the first time through, and you're not happy with your current configuration, because the setup wizard will affect your current settings, you can run it again. And you run it again by just going to stockcharts.com/setup. Okay, and after everything's logged in, then you will logged in successfully, you'll get to the members dashboard, and I'm going to give you a demo of that. This is the bullet points for that, but I'll give you that demo here in just a minute. The final thing, I keep thinking it's the final thing. I want to do my demo. The chart bar. So at the top of all of our pages is a big long box, and that's where you can type in ticker symbols to and create a chart for that particular stock. If you can't remember the ticker symbol, just type in the name of the stock, we'll fill it in. You should be pretty familiar with kind of this autocomplete process. A lot of sites have it these days. And when you type in a ticker symbol and press enter, you're going to see our typical chart, which is called a sharp chart. There's a drop down, however, that allows you to see other kinds of tools if you want to. Yay! Okay, now I can do my demo. So I'm going to demo the logging in, the setup wizard, and the members dashboard. All right, so we're going to see all that. So this is what I see. I'm going to log in for the first time to a brand new account. And here's the login screen. I'm going to type in the password. And then I get my membership agreement. Again, the very first time you'll get this, accept and continue. And now this is the setup wizard that I was telling you about. So this is, you only see this the first time, and it's just basically to help you get your account configured. Click on Get Started. The first thing we have to decide upon is something called the default chart. The default chart is the way that you want new charts to appear. Whenever you create a new chart on our website, what colors do you want it to have? How big do you want it to be? What kind of indicators do you want on it? What kind of other information do you want on it? All that stuff is what goes into setting up your default chart. And you want to try and pick a default that you really like, because you're probably going to see the default chart a lot. So here the wizard gives us several different choices, some of which have a lot of indicators on them, others of which have very few, so on and so forth. I'm going to recommend that people pick John Murphy's default. I really like that setting, and I like the relatively small number of indicators that are on it. I think it's a good place to start. So I'm clicking here to select that. Then I'm going to go down to step number 2. Step number 2, we're creating a chart list. Again, a chart list is like a folder, a place for you to store saved charts. You can have, as an extra member, you can have up to 250 of these, and you use them to categorize your charts. So maybe there's one chart list which is your portfolio. Another chart list might be your watch list. Another chart list might be stocks that you've owned in the past. Another chart list might be stocks that they're talking about on some TV show. Whatever, you can set it up any way that you want, but again, typically chart lists are used to categorize your charts and your stocks. So the very first thing we're going to do for you here in the setup wizard is create a chart list for stocks and mutual funds that you might own. And so what you need to do here is just type in some ticker symbols really quickly. I'm going to just kind of make some up here, type in some of the big tech companies. But again, and you could type in any symbols you wanted to, but the idea here is that you would type in symbols maybe of stocks that you own or that you're considering owning, so on and so forth. So let me take just one more. I'm just going to do a couple other stocks that are easy to type in. All right, so that's enough. Now I'm continuing to step 3. Step 3 is asking us to add some scans to our accounts. Again, scans are criteria that are used to find stocks meeting certain technical conditions. Honestly, in order to fully kind of get a sense of what scans can do, I recommend that you just add all of them. There's no reason not to. There's no real harm in doing it. And this will allow you later to go back and kind of study each of these scans, see how they're set up, see how they work. If you want to see, a scan of new 52-week lows, this is going to add it to your account, and then you can go in later and study that, see the actual settings that made up that particular scan and understand how it works. So I think it's just best to select them all. All right, and so at this point, what it's doing is it's telling us, here's what you told, it's asking for confirmation. We want the John Murphy chart style, we want a chart list with these stocks, and we want all of these scans. Is that right? And it is, so I'm gonna hit continue, hit go. It's gonna go through the process, set everything up for me, yay, and now I can finally go to the dashboard. So this is how things look normally once everything's set up. This is how things look normally when you first log in. I see my name over here in the upper right. I see the current market conditions here. I see down at the bottom, I see my chart list with various charts that I have. I see my scans that have been set up, all the different scans that the wizard added for me. So this is all configured and set up now, ready to go. Let me take you through a couple of things about this members dashboard, and then I'll see if there are any questions that we have. The first thing I want to point out is on the dashboard over on the left is a list of all the different tools that are available at StockCharts. Now we have a lot of tools, and so it's important to understand this list is scrollable. I'm just using my mouse wheel to scroll up and down on this list. I move my mouse over the list and then I can find them. So if you want, this is how you get to each of the major tools that form a part of our site. So don't forget that it's scrollable. Over here, we can, in the market overview, I can quickly get a sense of what's happening or what happened in the market over the past 2 days or so. And in this case, the market was going kind of sideways. There was kind of a big jump, between the previous day and that day, but that's fine. Everything else is kind of the same. All in all, on the past day, we can see a lot of red, so all in all, the market went down. So we get that kind of information. Now, the rest of the market members page is configurable. I can choose what I want to see in each of these boxes. So right now, I've got the sector summary in my third box over here, but maybe instead, I want to see market movers. And maybe market movers for the NASDAQ sorted by percent up. I can change and configure this box to show me any information that I want. I can also change and configure these boxes. I can add more boxes. The members dashboard is very, very, very configurable, and the idea is to make it very, very useful to you as kind of a control center for the entire website. For more information, there's always help. The final thing is this, the box up at the top, as I mentioned, you can simply type a ticker symbol or you can type the name of a company and we will try and find it for you if you can't remember. And once you have what you want, you click or you press enter, then you'll come over here and now you're on the SharpCharts workbench. And the SharpCharts workbench is what we're going to talk about next. But before we do that, Rachel?
Yes, we do have a question.
Any questions?
Yes, we do have one. You'd mentioned earlier that during the trial, you can upgrade and downgrade your account.
Yes.
How do I do that?
Okay, so upgrading, downgrading, great question. I'm gonna, there's a little of this at the end of this presentation, but I'll show you more of it now. There is an area, it's right here under your name on any page. You can click on your name and you'll see a collection of different options for you to work on. One of those options is called Your Account. So the Your Account is where you change anything having to do with your account in terms of adding and removing services, renewing, canceling, all that kind of stuff. And so by default, you're going to come in with a free trial. You're going to come in at our extra level, that middle level, but you can go to the Your Account page and you can click on Change Service Level. And once you do that, then you have the ability to move to upgrade or downgrade. During the free trial, you can go to all three of those freely. But you want to make sure by the time your trial ends that you've picked the one that you really want. Because once the trial ends and we go to renew your account, we're going to renew it and charge your card at the level that you're currently using. So that's important to understand. One final thing, another way to get to the Your Account page is it's also here on the members dashboard underneath your name on the left. So there's a link here and there's also a link here. Okay, great question. Let's go back to my slides now and keep going. Again, SharpCharts is our main tool, so it's really important you understand how SharpCharts works and what SharpCharts is telling you. The charts are sent out, by the way, they're sent out as what's called PNG format images. They're just pictures. They're like any other picture that you see on the internet. It means that you can cut and paste them very easily into Word documents. You can use them on any device. You don't need any special software. It's very, very easy to work with. They can be up to 2,500 pixels wide, and they can be as tall as necessary. They are not directly interactive. We are in the process of putting together a new tool called StockCharts ACP. You'll see that mentioned at different parts of the site, and I'll talk about it on another show. StockCharts ACP is our very interactive full screen tool. If you really want that kind of thing, ACP is the way to go. But for now, I'm going to talk about kind of the old standby that we have, the old stalwart that we have, because it's the one that most people are still in the process of working with. SharpCharts looks like this. This is an example of what a sharp chart looks like. We saw some earlier. This has got the John Murphy theme on it. This is what they call an OHLC bar chart, open, high, low, close bar chart. We can see a couple of different pieces of this chart that I want to point out. In the upper left corner, we have the main ticker symbol. This is the symbol and the name of in this case, an index associated with the information, the bars that we see on the chart. We also see the date, and if the market was open, we'd see the time that the chart was created. We see the last quote information. So this is the information associated with the bar on the rightmost side of the chart. We also see percent up and down. We've got the price axis here. And we've got what we call a y-axis labels, where each of the indicators kind of slams into the right side. We show you exactly what that value is. We've got volume bars down here. This blue line is what we call an overlay line. It's a technical indicator that sits on top of the price bars, so we call that an overlay. Down below is a technical indicator that works on a different scale. It doesn't sit on top of the price bars because it's on a different scale, and so it lives in its own little panel. We call this an indicator panel. This particular indicator is called the MACD. It's a very popular one, MACD. You can learn more about that in chart school. Unfortunately, I don't have time today to go into the details. But the key is that you can see the range on the MACD is from like -400 to +400. If we plotted that on the same scale as these bars, it wouldn't even show up because these bars are all the way up in the 25,000 or 2,500s. No, 25,000. So that's why this is a technical indicator and has to live in a separate panel because it has a separate scale, a vertical scale. And that's important when we go to use and set up a SharpCharts. It's important to understand the difference between an overlay and an indicator. That's why I'm pointing that out. There's also a legend over here in the upper left corner that will show you also the final values for each of these things, and it will tell you which line, like the line that's colored blue, in this case is the EMA, is the 200 period EMA for this particular exponential moving average for this particular stock. So the legend can also help. Anyway, those are the key parts of a sharp chart when you're looking at it. And it's important to understand that because now when we go to use the SharpCharts workbench, we're going to be setting up each of those parts, and we have the ability to customize each of those parts. So in the workbench itself, and I'll show you the page in just a minute, there's the top part where you get to set the main ticker symbol, the period, and the auto refresh settings. Then there's the chart itself. Then below the chart will be three areas. The overall chart attributes area, then the chart overlays area, and then the indicators area. So we're going to see what each of these, actually 4 areas, look like. Before I do the demo, I did want to take just half a second and tell you about auto refresh. We get a lot of questions about this, so I wanted to really make sure I clarified what auto refresh is and what it isn't. Auto refresh is an optional feature that allows you to have your chart automatically, have the workbench automatically refresh the chart periodically. So we'll keep your chart up to date. Now, it's not exactly the same as streaming. We update it based on a period. It can be up to 15 seconds long for extra members. It can be as little as 5 seconds long for pro members. And the idea here is that's not the way that you monitor a stock if you really want to watch a stock closely. If you really want to watch a stock closely, you can do that by clicking the update button yourself. The update button, which is the button right next to the chart, will always cause you to get a refreshed version of the chart with the absolute latest data. So you can click that button as often as you want if you really need to watch a chart like every second, something really quickly. But if you just want to sit back and have the chart be up to date automatically without having to click buttons, that's what auto refresh is all about. As I mentioned, Extra and Basic can do it, set it to 15 seconds. Pro users can set it to 5 seconds. By the way, if you go to try and set auto refresh and it doesn't seem to work, that's probably because the market isn't open right now. And so on today is Saturday. If you try and use it, it will probably immediately turn itself off because the market's closed. There's another thing, a quick thing. If you want to use your mouse and hover over the bars to see what the prices are, you can do that by turning on the inspector. I'll give that a demo right now. Okay. So again, here's the members dashboard, and I can just type in a ticker symbol here, and now I see my chart on the Workbench, and I see it with my default chart style. In fact, I'm going to change this just a little bit and come back here. Oh, that's too big. These are my different chart styles that I have, and I can select one and get a very small one. So let me take off. I'm just going to quickly set this up so my chart's a little smaller. All right, now I want to take you through the Workbench, and then I'll show you what I just did. Up here at the top, this is the top area that I just mentioned, where you type in the ticker symbol, you select the period for the bars, and then here's that update button that I was mentioning. Every time you click the update button, you're going to get a new chart with the most up-to-date data that you have that we have available for you. Below those are the two things I mentioned. This is the auto refresh settings. So I'm on extra member right now, and I can go down to 15 seconds, but as I mentioned, on the weekend, it'll immediately turn it right back off. And then this is the inspector. By clicking this checkbox, I can now hover my mouse over the chart and see information about each bar. And so that can be really useful. The inspector is something that does kind of get in the way, and so you have the option to turn it off if you want. Down below the chart are the other three areas that I mentioned. We have the chart attributes area, then we have the chart overlays area, and then we have the indicators area. Now, I will tell you, the first thing I want to tell you is that in the overlays and indicators area, by default, it's going to look like this. You're going to see these little green triangles that say advanced options. Be sure to open up those green triangles. Those green triangles will give you a whole lot more options and things that you can do with it that give you just more choices for configuring your site. So you want to make sure those green arrows are open and you have access to all the settings. Let's go back to the chart attributes area. The chart attributes area has to do with settings that affect the chart as a whole, the entire chart. So that includes the horizontal time axis, which we call the range. And there are a whole bunch of different range settings that I'm going to go over in just a minute. You can see them here in the drop-down. The type of the chart, we're looking at a candlestick chart here. We also have, as I showed you before, the OHLC bar chart. There that is. One of my favorites, there's a lot of other ones here. One of my favorites is down at the very bottom, the Elder Impulse System, where bars are colored either blue, red, or green. Green is good, red is bad, blue is neutral. You can learn more about that system, by the way, in our Chart School area. I've mentioned Chart School a couple of times. Here's the link to get to it, right up here. And so anyway, the point, coming back to this, the point is there are lots of different types of charts that you can use, and those are also covered in Chart School, but I just want to quickly show you that one. The size of the chart, the color scheme, let's go back to that Murphy color scheme that I like. Here it is. There we go. Various other kinds of settings. All these settings apply to the chart as a whole. Down below will be other things. So let's go back to the slides and now go through these chart attributes that I just demoed for you. I mentioned range is really important, and it has to do with the horizontal axis. How much data are you seeing? When does the chart start showing you data? When does the chart stop showing you data? That's what's controlled by the range in the chart attributes area. There's one setting that is the default. I think it's a really good setting, and I would say 80% of the time it's the setting you should probably use. It's called fill the chart. So So if you select fill the chart from the drop down, what we're going to do is we're going to draw the chart backwards, making sure that all the bars look perfect. We're going to start with the most recent bar, and we're just going to draw backwards perfect bars until we run out of space. So the thing with fill the chart is you're not sure when the chart is going to start on the left side, but it's going to end right now on the most recent time, and the bars are going to look great. So this is the perfect setting for people who are monitoring the market as it currently is. What's going on right now? What's happening right now? So that's why fill the chart is useful, is that's what most people are kind of interested in, what's going on right now. So keep that in mind. Now there are other choices. Some people might want to see a specific amount of time. They don't necessarily care. They just want to make sure that they see, for instance, a complete year's worth of data or year-to-date amount of data. If you want to see a specific time period, you can also select that in the range dropdown. Now the thing is, if you select more bars than we're able to fit into the chart nicely, then we'll have to start scrunching some of those bars to get them in there. But that's all right. We still will show you all of the time period that you selected. And then another thing you could do is you might, instead of doing a duration like a year or 2 years or 3 years, you might want to actually specify the starting date and the ending date. So maybe this is a chart of when you bought a stock and then when you sold the stock. So those are the 2 dates. So you can also do that in the range dropdown by selecting start and end and then entering in those dates. Now I showed you, I'll give you a demo of this as well. The chart types, there are lots of different ones out there. Candlestick and OHLC bars are common. I showed you the Elder Impulse bars. I think they're very cool. Chart School goes over all those different ones. And so it's definitely worth some time to try each of those and learn more about them. Then finally, below that area, below the chart attributes area that we just went over, was an area for the indicators and an area for the overlays. In the overlays area, you've got the things that sit on top of the price bars, and in the indicators area, you have the things that are in their own panels, either above or below the price plot area. I mentioned the green triangles. You want to click them to see more options, and so on. So I'm going to give you a demo of these things in just a minute. You can have up to 25 indicators and 25 overlays on a chart. That's an awful lot. Initially, you'll only see 3 slots for adding indicators and 3 slots for adding overlays. But if you fill those up, we'll give you more. More will kind of magically appear. You'll be able to add more. And again, you can add up to 25 per chart of each of those. So lots and lots of choices. Now, after you configure your Sharp chart and you get it the way you want it to look, it looks great, then you want to be able to save it. And saving a chart into your account is one of the key benefits of having a StockCharts membership. What you can do is you set all those settings that we just went over, and you get a chart that you really like with a ticker symbol you really like, and you'll click on the Save link. It's located right above the chart, kind of towards the right corner of the chart. It's called Save. You'll then select the chart list that you want to save it into, and you'll give it a name. And the name, you want to make sure, it will suggest a name automatically, but you probably want to change that. You probably want to turn the name into something that is unique and findable for you. One other thing to remember is that chart lists are always displayed in alphabetic order, meaning that if you want some charts to be at the top of your chart list and other charts to be towards the bottom, you need to put some kind of code in front of the name. A lot of times we recommend people use numbers like 0001, 00010, 9999, whatever. So that way the numbers control the order of the sorting of the charts in a chart list. So that's a tip for you. Now, my next demo will be of Chart Notes. And Chart Notes is our annotation tool. It's the tool that allows you to draw lines and add text to our charts. And it's another key feature of a StockCharts membership, the ability to add these annotations and then save them into your account, save a chart that's been annotated into your account. And then over time, we will automatically update those charts and keep all of those annotations current. There are lots and lots of drawing tools that ChartNotes has. You can draw trend lines, you can draw boxes, circles, Fibonacci retracements are always popular. There are other kinds of capabilities we have. I'll give you a quick demo here in just a minute.
Hey, Chip.
Yes.
Before we get too far away from SharpCharts settings, we do have a question from Mark. He'd like to know if you can customize the y-axis.
Okay, so great question, Mark. The y-axis cannot be customized directly in SharpCharts in the sense that you can't specify what the top is and you can't specify what the bottom is. We're always going to scale it based on how to show the data that's on the chart. However, sometimes you do need more information or you need more space for your annotations. I'll show this in the chart notes demo. Like you want to draw a trend line that continues up and to the right beyond the edge of the chart. So there are two things we can do. First off, you can always add more horizontal space to a chart. We have some settings called extra bars that allow you to add more horizontal space. And then second off, you can always put an indicator panel above your chart and have the indicator panel essentially be empty. That's going to give you more room for your annotations. It's not exactly the same as what Mark's probably asking about, but it's pretty close. The final thing I'll say as a side note is that ACP, our new interactive charting tool, will allow that kind of capability. Okay, so if that's okay with you, Rach, I will show, now I'll do the little chart notes demo.
Carry on.
And and also try and address that question too a little bit. So here's our chart that I was creating before. And so let's say that I do want to I want to annotate it, but I also want to add some stuff to the right edge, kind of trend lines going out into the future. So there's a little box right down here called extra bars that we see in the chart attributes area. I'm using fill the chart, which is my favorite setting. And I'm going to do extra bars. I'm going to just add 20 extra bars to this particular chart. And so there we go. Now I've got some extra space here. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, and this is a little trick that I'm going to do without getting too much into it. I'm going to add what we call a price indicator, and I'm going to add a price indicator with a special symbol called $1. Again, all that does is that's going to plot a line at the position number 1. Oh, the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of being below the chart, I'm going to make it above the chart. Okay. And I'm even going to get more tricky, and I'm going to make that line invisible. So there we go. So now I've got space. I've got a bunch of space up here and to the right of my chart. And when I go into chart notes, so our chart notes annotation tool, the way you get to it is you click on the annotate link that you see just down here in the lower left below the chart. Click on annotate. And now I have access to all of the different annotation tools. I can choose line size, I can choose color, I can choose whether I want to draw. Right now it's set up to draw a trend line. I can have it draw vertical, horizontal lines, curved lines. I can add text, all different kinds of text capabilities. I can add shapes. Here's the Fibonacci retracement stuff, so on and so forth. Let me start by just adding a quick little trend line here. So I'm drawing a trend line between some lows, and I'm, again, extending it out into the future. I can add another trend line, maybe trend line here. See that breakdown. I can also do, let's do some Fibonacci stuff, because I know this is really popular. So I'm going to pick Fibonacci, I'm going to make it red, and I'm going to draw the retracement from this low up to this high, and then extend it out to the right, and now I can see the different levels. Now these are the standard Fibonacci levels. One of the questions we get a lot of is, hey, I want the other ones. I want to add some more Fibonacci levels to it. How can I do that? I just hit the delete key to get rid of the one I just drew. Now I'm going to draw another one, but as I'm drawing it, I'm holding down the command or the control key on my computer. And now I have additional levels. I have extension levels as well as more levels in the middle. And so that's how you do that. To get additional stuff anytime in chart notes, not just for Fibonacci, but for other tools as well, try holding down the command key. You'll get additional capabilities that way. So again, I just clicked on it to select it, and now I'm going to hit delete to get rid of it. So I could add another box over here. And again, now I'm drawing up into my indicator area. One of my favorite annotation tools, by the way, is what we call the auto support resistance tool. It's a very common phenomenon when a stock breaks resistance that resistance turns into support. We actually see that happening here with IBM. IBM worked hard and broke through this red resistance level here at roughly 137, went up, did some topping things, and then retested that. So 137 had at this point had become support for IBM. Unfortunately, it broke back down again, and now 137 is resistance, and we see that happening here and here and here, and it has yet to actually break back above the 137. But because that level, which sometimes is support but then changes into resistance, because of those changes, very common, this tool will automatically change the color of the line. It will automatically show red when prices are below it and green when prices are above it to give you that automatic sense of support and resistance. Anyway, you can, like I said, add all kinds of annotations and stuff to this thing. Once you're done with your masterpiece, then you can save it, because that's another, again, advantage of being a member. I'm going to save changes. So I just clicked on the X to kind of shut down chart notes. It asked me, do I want to save the changes? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to type in a name and make sure that it's selected the right chart list. And I'm going to hit upload. And now all those annotations that I just made are part of my chart. And every time I look at this chart, I will see those annotations. I don't need to go back into chart notes unless I need to change those annotations. They'll just automatically be updated for me from now on. So that's really, really nice. And that's one of the key capabilities that we provide. All right, let me go back to my slides and see what other notes are. Oh, yes, okay. So the next thing we want to talk about is the ways, once you've saved some charts, how can you look at those charts and review them quickly and easily? And the way you do that, you can do it from inside the Workbench, the page we were just looking at, but it actually is easier and more common for you to do it from the members' homepage using various views that you can view a chart list in. Here are the various views that you have. For instance, if you have a chart list with a bunch of ticker symbols, you might just want to look at it as a table of tickers, not the actual charts, but a table showing you which stocks went up and which stocks went down. That's very common. That's what we call summary view. Or you might want to look at the charts themselves. Maybe you've annotated them all and you want to look at them. So that's what you do that in what we call 10 per page view. That will show you 10 charts at a time. And it will show you the actual charts that you saved with all their settings and indicators and annotations. You can also use chart book view, which you could consider to be one chart per page. You're looking at one chart at a time and you click on it and then you see the next chart and so on and so forth. And we have some other views, many of which are super useful. Candle glances are mini charts. Gallery view shows you a 3 time frame version of each ticker symbol, and there are other ones. I'll give you a quick demo of that in just a minute too. But before I do that, there's one last thing I need to talk about, and that is chart style. So I know we've got lots of terminology here. We've gone over a lot of stuff here in this short hour that we have, but I've got one more important term for you. Chart style. A chart style is a template that you can use on any chart. It's everything about a chart, all the settings about a chart, except the ticker symbol. So what you can do is you can then take a ticker symbol, maybe it's a ticker symbol of something you haven't looked at in the past, and apply the chart style to that ticker symbol to create a chart that has all the settings you like and looks the way that you are comfortable with. So that's called applying a chart style to a ticker symbol. If you remember, the Setup Wizard installed several custom chart styles for us to try, and there's a special chart style called the default chart style that you want to make sure you've set up in your account. If you find yourself constantly changing, you pull up a chart and then you're immediately changing it to do this and have this color and have these settings, that just means that you probably want to change your default chart style so that it automatically has all those settings for you. So the default chart style is special, and it's important that you spend a little bit of time thinking about it to get it right. Here's some tips for getting your default chart style right. I recommend using Fill the Chart. I recommend it being really big. I recommend it having all the common settings that you're very used to. And then you're going to save it as using a special link called Save as Default. I'll show you that in just a second. So let me do that, and then we'll take some more questions. I'm going to come back here. First off, I'm going to go back to the dashboard. And I'm going to show you how you can look at your saved charts from the dashboard. That happens down here in the chart list area. You can click on this button to go to, or you can just simply scroll down to go to the bottom of the page. At the bottom of the dashboard is a list of all of your chart lists. It's a list of your lists. And remember, as an extra member, I have up to 250. In this case, I've only used 5 of them. Here they are. So here's a list that was set up for me by the wizard. I'm going to click on it. And now I'm seeing my list in summary view as a table of ticker symbols. Remember, these symbols are the ones we typed in earlier. However, I can click on this drop down, and now I can look at it in 10 per page. Now I'm looking at the symbols as charts. Or I can click on it in chart book, which is 1 per page. And then I click on each chart to go from one to the next to the next. So on and so forth. There are many, many different views. You can learn more about them in the help area. Lots and lots of different capabilities. But that's how once you've got all your charts set up and annotated and working the way and organized the way you want to, you're probably going to spend more of your time here in the list view, often 10 per page or summary, rather than on the workbench. By the way, if you want to actually look at a chart and then interact with it, you just click on it, and now it'll take you right back to the workbench. And now that we're back on the workbench, I want to talk about the default chart styles. This drop down shows you all of the different chart styles that you have, and you can see there's some predefined ones as well as some ones that were set up by the setup wizard. And I can just come down here and click on these to move from one to another to another. Or, so that's nice, and all of my chart styles are always located here in this drop down. Or these are called style buttons. Off here to the left are these special buttons, also that were set up by the chart wizard. You can change them if you want, but some defaults have been given to you just to play with and see how it works. And I can just click on these, and these will automatically apply the style for me without me having to scroll down and pick it out. So style buttons are also super useful. They're almost like a whole collection of default styles. Anyway, let's say, for instance, that we really like this style, this dark blue style, and we want all of our charts to have this setting. Maybe we customize it a little bit. We can maybe take off an indicator, and we've customized it. So let's say this is the way we want anytime we chart a new stock, we want to see it in this view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click below the chart. I'm going to click on Save as Default. See that link right here? And once I do that, then anytime I type a ticker symbol anywhere on the site, so I'm going to go over here to articles. I'm going to just a completely different area of the site. I'm going to type in a ticker symbol. Let's type in Ford, and I'm going to press Enter. And now that chart appears with those settings, those default settings. So that's why the default settings are so important. It makes it super easy for you to see charts with all the settings you want. All right, those were the 2 demos that I wanted to make sure that I gave for you. Rachel, do we have any other questions? We've got about 7 minutes left in the show.
We do, and hopefully we can get to all of them. The first question is, if I extend my account for 1 year, how does that affect my current expiration date?
Okay, great question. We, again, allow you to pay for your subscription in 2 different ways. The first is month to month, and the second is a prepaid amount, a yearly. I think you can use 6 months or a year or longer. If you do the prepaid approach, you are going to save money on a month-to-month basis. The monthly cost will go down. However, you will lose some flexibility. The whole point of going month to month is it gives you a ton of flexibility. You can start and stop your account at any point if you go month to month with no real consequences. If you pay us, if you want to get the lower rate, you have to pay us upfront for that in order to get that lower rate. And some people are okay with that. They love our service. They've used it long enough to say, hey, I want to make sure that all these charts that I've set up, I want to make sure they're around for a long time. So I want the lowest rate possible. So I will take advantage of that. And if you do that, which you can do at any time, then what we'll do is we'll take, let's say you bought a 6 months, you bought a 6-month plan. We will add that to the end of your current expiration date. So whatever your current expiration date is, we'll add 6 months to the end of that. You won't lose any of the time you've already paid for that you still haven't gotten, but we will add to the end of that. And you can do that. Let's say you really love our site. You could buy a 1-year package and get a couple months free, and then you could buy another 1-year package and get more months free. We don't recommend that. We think you shouldn't get too far more than a year out, but because things change. But again, you can go month to month and have total flexibility, or you can prepay for stuff and get the lower rate.
Okay. And we are coming to the end of the year, and I need an invoice to send to my employer.
Right. So people ask this question a bunch, especially around this time of year, quite right. How can I get an invoice? How can I see what I paid for my account, so on and so forth? This is going to be pretty boring, but I'll show you where it should be. Now, this account's on a free trial, so it's not going to have too much. Again, the answer is in the Your Account area. You click on the Your Account area. There's a whole bunch of choices here, and then there's also an area here, a link here that says View Transactions. And so View Transactions, again, I'm going to click on it. It won't be very interesting. Shouldn't be, but it's going to be the place where you will see what you paid us, and you can generate invoices from that area. Okay. And I guess it did find some for one of my older accounts, but anyway, that gives you a sense of it. It's all here under View Transactions on the Your Account page. Again, just while I'm on the Your Account page, this is also the place where if your email address changes, you can change that here. If you want to change your password and make it something else, which we recommend, you can do that here. You can update your address. You can change and add data plans. You can change your auto renew preferences and again, do the prepay thing. Or if you want, you can totally cancel your account right here. Click this button. We'll cancel the account. Either immediately or at the end of the next segment that you paid for.
Okay. Speaking to that, if I have, say, 6 months left on my account, but I want to cancel right now, what's the refund policy for that?
So you will get refunded for all months after the end of the current month. So the current month, especially if you have a data plan we've already paid for, we've already given that money to the exchanges, so on and so forth. So you're going to get full access to that time on your account. However, if you hit the cancel button, and it will explain to you when you do this, if you hit the cancel button, then at the end of the current month, then your account will be canceled, and we will refund all the money any money that you've paid for us beyond that time. So it's very, very flexible, and again, it's almost like it's almost a no-risk policy in the sense of you can always get at least some of your money back.
Okay. And instead of canceling, is there an ability to suspend my service?
Right. That's another great question. We get from time to time somebody is going out on a vacation and won't be back for a month or whatever. Unfortunately, we don't have an ability to suspend an account. And the reason for that is because part of what you're paying for when you buy a StockCharts account is the storage of all your settings and the storage of all your chart information and everything else. The alerts, any alerts that you've set up will continue to run, so on and so forth. So we don't have a way to suspend an account and then restart up an account at that point. You want to, if you think that you're going to be going on vacation or something like that, you either want to just pay to have us maintain your account, or you probably want to go month to month, or try to go month to month beforehand, so that you then have the ability to stop and maybe resubscribe later. We will keep your settings around for up to a year after you cancel your account. Once the year is over, we will delete everything, and then we cannot get it back. But for up to 1 year after your account has been canceled, all your settings are still around, and if you rejoin, you'll get them all right back.
Okay, there's a couple more questions, but I don't think we have much more time. There's only 30 seconds left. So we'll get to those questions on the next show, which will be in 2 weeks.
Right, so just some quick things. We went over all of this stuff. Here's the help stuff. And I just want to end with a big thank you to everyone for watching the show. A big thank you again for subscribing to StockCharts, for kicking the tires at StockCharts. Please let us know if you have any more other questions on our support team. And once again, Happy New Year, everybody. See you later.